Hey guys, Julian here with another anime review. So, just like the movies, it doesn't matter what order you watch these anime reviews in, as long as you watch them. So, in this review, we're going to be taking a look at To Ever You I've Loved Before. So, warning for spoilers ahead if you haven't seen this movie or its counterpart to me, the one who loved you. If you have seen both already, I am curious to what order you watch them in, so let me know down in the comments below. So firstly, I want to address the tone of this film. I think it's very homey. What do I mean by that? I mean there's not a lot of conflict that goes on throughout this film. I feel like the film has a very nice and calm tone throughout. Yes, there are moments of fear and moments of uncertainty, but for the most part, it's a little bit of comedic, it's very sweet, and I think it's just very overall family oriented. But it does seem to explain or set up key points in its counterpart film, explaining large concepts about how parallel worlds work, what happens when you sort of flash in between them or kind of fall in between them and how that all works. So it does the more of the heavy lifting so that when you get to that next film, or if you've already previously watched it, it helps you understand what is going on with a lot more context. But let's talk about this film, shall we? Life is more peaceful for Koyomi in this film, which kind of makes him not as motivated and as driven as we've seen in the last film. So this gives us a completely different side of Koyomi, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? I mean, as I talked about before, it allows us to have a better understanding of these parallel worlds and how they intersect and how everything works, because don't get me wrong, the science is a bit confusing, and I mean, you have to explain it and how in this universe it works and how you can flip, and with the whole watch thing, I mean, it really did a better job focusing on that. And I mean, they had the room to do so, right? They didn't have so much of an overarching problem that they had to fix, but it was more showing us what the world would have been like if Koyomi didn't meet Shiori, and instead pursued his life with Kazune. Kazune is truly an opposite to Koyomi in terms of personality, but this does make her a good compliment for him. She pushes him to be a better version of himself, constantly comparing him to a different otherworldly Koyomi, which I think is kind of funny because she only has a brief interaction with an actual other parallel world Koyomi in the actual film, but she constantly compares him to that version of him, even though he really didn't do that much for her. But you know, she saved him from his own dog, okay? Or maybe there was another dog as well, but still, that act left such an impression on her that I find it funny that she has to put on this whole persona of pretending to be an otherworldly version of herself to get this guy to notice her. Now, it is noted that Kazune is in every other world line who he will fall in love with. So every world except for one, this is the girl he's gonna fall in love with. So that means there are so many different versions of what happens, but no matter what, those two will always end up together. As we see as another worldly Kazune, well, not that we actually see three world technically different ones, but you know, I'll talk about the other one in the other review. But the other one that we see unfortunately lost their child, and that was quite hard for her, and that was the only reason why she jumped. Now, it's interesting that when you return back from the jump, you don't return back to a zero. You actually are very point differently changed. Does that mean something else could happen? Does that mean that something can be fixed in the other film? I don't know. Interesting possibility, but like I said, that did all of the explaining of how parallel worlds work. So then let's actually talk about the ending, because Kazune has a big part to play. Turns out that Kazune from the other film sends letters to this version of Kazune telling her to implant on Koyomi's PDA or schedule a time and place that she has to go meet up with Shiori. Now that seems rather odd. Why is she helping him meet up with another girl? Doesn't that contradict what she should be doing? But she does openly admit that yes, but there is only one world line where he picks somebody else. But even in that world line, she still wants to support him. She still wants to stay by his side. So, even though she goes against her maybe better judgment, she fulfills that request, inputs it in Koyomi's schedule, and Koyomi goes out to meet this girl. And honestly, in the context of this film, if you haven't even seen the other film yet, it makes absolutely no sense for this ending. Why would you go meet this strange woman? You honestly kind of brush it off as if it's nothing. Alright? If you already have context that you've already watched the other film, then you know it just kind of feels like, oh yes, oh my god, this is so symbolic. But if you've only watched this film first, you're kind of left confused. Right? Like, why is this girl important? I mean, don't get me wrong, they do quickly flash through the next film in about maybe about 10 minutes in this. But you don't feel the connection, right? You're like, you saw him grow up with Kazune, you saw him fight to get her attention, you saw him struggle with her playing mind games with him. All to get to this one point where, okay, there's another girl. I mean, in my personal opinion then, with that ending in mind, this makes it that I think you should watch this film in the second part. You should watch the other film first and then this one, because it would make a lot more sense in understanding. Yes, you don't get that understanding if you won't watch this film first, but it's nice having that clarity after the fact. And the ending feels more impactful if you've watched this one second. And now it's time for Romance Corner, and obviously we're gonna talk about Koyomi and Kazune in more detail. So from the start, Kazune plays hard to get, but lures Koyomi in. Clearly, she has feelings for him, but does not want to give in yet. This is making Koyomi fall even more for her. Right? Their entire life and work unfold in this film without much conflict. And I can't help but feel like I'm really happy seeing this life unfold. It's calm, it's peaceful, right? Kazune has to be crazy about this guy. The fact that she is aware that she knows this is the guy for me, all right? Like, she's that clear, but she's like, no. I'm gonna make him work, try to ask me out every time. I mean, it's crazy. I love seeing her become a mom and a loving wife and make their family, and love seeing them be a duo throughout the entire film, right? They were so well complementing to each other that I'm still not gonna say that Shiori is better for Koyomi, and I'm not going to say that Kazune is better for Koyomi, but I was still happy that he had this life, that I could see that he had found a meaningful love, right? And yes, it does help that he doesn't know about Shiori in this world, so he can love Kazune to his full extent and full heart. And I think they do make a really nice couple. So, on to the 3 reasons why you should watch this anime, even though technically and films multiple, but you know what, we'll focus on this one. So, number 1, it's romantic. Like I said, it is very, very romantic. I mean, you're seeing Koyomi chase after Kazune with romantic gesture after romantic gesture, and I mean, you get to see just how deeply in love these two are, and I just absolutely loved it. Number 2 is the sci-fi. It does obviously have that sci-fi aspect. I mean, with the idea of parallel worlds and jumping between them. There is a lot of scientific things going on, and while maybe they don't exist in our world yet, it is quite cool to actually contemplate and think about, and I think it does a good job still grounding that science in reality. Still far-fetched for us, it is still pretty cool. Number 3 is, again, it's homey. Right, I said I love the fact that it's got that homey kind of vibe to it. It's calm, it's well-paced, it's not too actiony, it's not too, oh my god, it's gonna kill my heart kind of deal. It feels comforting, right? It feels familiar, it feels like a family, right? You feel happy, you feel relaxed in it, right? I don't know how else to put it. It just felt a very homey vibe from this film, and I think it's a good reason why you should go out and watch it. So while this is a beautiful movie, it does have a companion movie, so please go out and watch it as well, and watch our anime review on it. That's all for this anime review. Be sure to also check out our anime theory on the 3rd film, maybe. Anyway, I hope to see you all in our next video. Take care now. Hey guys, Julian here with another anime review. So, just like the movies, it doesn't even matter what order you watch these anime reviews in. Well, to answer that, the main focus of this film is to save the one he loved. In other words, to save Shiori. While Kazune does appear in this film, she realizes that she is not the center of attention. Even the own film itself states, if only they had consulted their parents. So I am kinda confused then, because will that mean there's gonna be a 4th book of them being together?